In this presentation, we will explain how to install a basic Swagger in a standard Core 3.1 template. Swagger is the most actual and easy package to get a documentation and test environment for our web API. Swagger, renamed as Open API Initiative, allows us to create an online documentation for our API using the same comments that our code has. Also, Swagger gives you a simple test environment and using other tool auto-generate the class to access to our API for client code in TypeScript, C# and other language. We are using the standard Core 3.1 template to demonstrate how to install it. Before to proceed with the installation of Swagger, we will create a API project that uses Core 3.1 and C#. That will be used to demonstrate how to install the Swagger in a project. We proceed, we create a standard Core 3.1 using the standard template for Visual Studio 2019. First, we created the project. New project. We select the ASP.NET Core application. Click Next. And now we need to put a name, Core Demo, for example. And we need to select a directory to pre-select this directory where we put the application, and that is the solution name that automatically is created. We create a project. The application asks what type of project we want to create. We are creating an API, type Core, ASP.NET Core 3.1. The API created, and the project is simply created. The project is created, we can build it. And in this moment we have a complete Core project API. That's in this moment only returned as the weather forecast for Microsoft template, and as is returned the content. The process for install Swagger is very simple. Let we follow the 4-step shown here to make the installation. First things is you can install the Swagger using Visual Studio using the Manage Package for Solution tool and select Show and Booklet ASP.NET Core Swagger. Let's see this. Let's now install the necessary package to have Swagger in our project. To that, we have our project, we go to the solution, and we will manage NuGet package for the solution. We don't have any package installed because the project is installed without package. And now we need to select the Show and Booklet ASP.NET Core package. You can share here for it, and there you have here the package. Click over the Core demo to install the package. The Swagger is installed with other package that has dependencies, the Open API and other that's as part of the Swagger. All these dependencies as installed. We accept here. And the package is installed. You see the independence package, you see the Show and Booklet package installed with the dependencies here. You can build the project, and in this moment Swagger is installed. That's not meaning that you can use it. Then we can go to step 2, configure the service to generate XML documentation. Because Swagger uses the comment of your code, it is necessary to activate this XML documentation option in our project to generate the XML comment file as is shown in the image. Let's see this in code. In this step, we allow the application, our Core demo, to have to generate a XML comments file. That comment file is used for Swagger to generate the documentation that it showed in the screen. To do that, we select the application and we open Project, Core Property. We go to Build, and in Build we select XML documentation file that is created by default value here. As it's a path with the name of file, we maintain that, but the only thing that we need to do extra is go to release configuration and make this instance. This is big for in both release and production. As a production and debug, you have the sustain for this file. Save, and we rebuild the solution. And that is the second. We need to configure the Swagger service. .NET Core is known for its flexibility to configure the service to be used. Swagger uses this feature to include its service in our application that made very easy insert the Swagger service in our application. Let's see this. In Swagger, we need to configure it. That has two different steps. One that is made the configuration itself, that is how the service should be where, and the second is launch the service properly. That's two operations is done in the startup file. This file controls how the .NET Core application is working, what service new you incorporate, and how you use it. We can add in configure service. This is how in this method the application, the core application, add the controller or all the middleware that we want to enter in the application. To add Swagger, we simple we copy head code here. This initialization, yeah, we are Swagger insert. That is information for customize our Swagger interface. That's a name, and here that can be changed. We need to introduce the DDL. That is not okay, and that is okay. And API info. Well, this was introduced when you enter the package for Swan booklet. So, rebuild. And in moment we have configured the configuration for Swagger in our second part of the Swagger configuration service. We need to indicate .NET Core that launch the Swagger service. Observe that the code should be inserted in this point in the configure method in the startup file. Let's see this. A second part for the configuration is for launch the method. How this middleware Swagger is launching here. The insertion point for the code to launch is better in this zone. To add the code, I have the code prepared here. It's simple. This instruction simply gives the path for where the Swagger JSON generate for Swagger is in our computer, and for that it can be open and processing for the Swagger UI application. This is only configuration, and this step is done. We can build to test that this is okay. This step is not really necessary to configure Swagger, but it's very useful for make our life a little better. The .NET Core 3.1 API template has not a home page, then it's very handy to do Swagger our home page. To do this simply, we need to modify the launch setting in our application, introducing a profile to show Swagger UI when the application is launching in Visual Studio. Let's see this in code. This part is not really necessary, but it's very good to open the project directly in the Swagger page. Visual Studio created for you the standard profiles for ESPress. You can see here when you run this, this is the code that's used to configure this launch of the project. To create the hour, it's very easy. We enter here the code. Now we call it Swagger. That is the title that is shown here. We're using Internet Express, and that's the launch URL is the Swagger URL. We build the project. Now we can run the project. We select Swagger. be sure that you have the bug and the project root. And voila, here we have the interface. Of course, the Swagger has a lot of more of configuration options to document and test our API. The generic JSON file allows us also to create automatically a proxy code to use the API. Let's only illustrate the use of the XML documentation of the code and how to add the return object to the documentation. We can use more things in Swagger. Swagger has many features that we don't see here, and only one of them is all comments that you put here in the method. But that is used for Swagger to reflect in the UI the information about the service. We can also use a header to give the type of method of object that is returned by the method in C. You can hit get, you can say alright, and add, and now the me do here, open a code, okay, and now the response type of the method is entered as part of the Swagger, is shown in Swagger. So, room. You get weather information. This was our comment. And now you can hear the schema of what is returned by the method and the types code. Of course, you can put more return objects. If you have a section, something, you can also add different produce response type for different status codes. And in our last page, you can find more information about our videos in www.avalonsoftware.com. If you consider this video was useful for you, please subscribe in our channel. Thanks, and see you in the next video.